Okay, so here's example 2. So, okay, first thing I need to do is I need to decide how am I going to solve this. Again, I'm probably not going to graph unless I'm told explicitly to graph, because in case I have fractions or decimals in my answers. So I look at this and I want to get one of the variables by itself. So I have one equation, two equation 1 and equation 2. I notice first of all that my instinct might be to try to get this y by itself because it's already almost by itself. But remember, it's usually not easy to get a variable alone unless it does not have a coefficient. And because this has a coefficient of 2, I'm not going to get that y by itself. If I tried to get it by itself, I would have to divide both x and 3 by 2. Notice neither of those are divisible by 2, so I'm going to start with fractions right off the get-go. So instead, I'm going to either try to get this x by itself or this y by itself. It doesn't matter which I do. I'm going to go ahead and choose equation 1 and get that x by itself. I know that in order to get this x by itself, I would add 3 to both sides, giving me x equals 2y plus 3. Of course, I have to keep the 2y and the 3 separate since they're not like terms. Now that I know what x is, I'm going to go ahead and say that if x is 2y plus 3 in equation 1, I can plug that in for x in equation 2, giving me 4. Instead of x, in parentheses, I say 2y plus 3, because I do have to show that x is all of those, plus the y equals 8. Now I'm solving a basic linear equation. I start by distributing the 4 since I cannot combine 2y and 3, and I get 8y plus 12 plus y equals 8. I see that I have like terms on the left side of my equal sign, so I combine those, giving me 9y's plus 12 equals 8. I now get rid of add or subtract, so I take 12 from both sides, giving me 9y equals negative 4. I divide both sides by 9. They cancel here. I'm okay with fractions, so I get y equals negative 4/9. That cannot be reduced. Now that I know what y is, I want to plug it back into one of my original equations, either 1 or 2, either form of 1. I'm going to choose the form of 1 that already has x by itself so that I'm not actually going to have to do any solving for x. All I'm going to have to do is simplify the right side of the equation using order of operations to figure out what x is. I get 2 times y. I just figured out that y is negative 4/9. I am going to put negative 4/9 in parentheses to show multiplication so I don't get confused and think it's subtract. Plus 3. I am very comfortable with fractions, so I know that I do not need a common denominator to multiply, and I just multiply straight across. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. 1 times 9 is 9. Plus 3. I do, however, know that I need a common denominator to add my fractions, so I'm going to say that's 3/1 and then multiply top and bottom by 9 in order to get a common denominator of 9, giving me negative 8/9 plus 27/9. Negative 8 and positive 27 is 19/9. That cannot be reduced. Now that I know what both x and y are, my last step is going to be to write them as a point. So my final answer is an x value of 19/9, the one I just found, and a y value of negative 4/9, always x comma y. And there is my final answer. So the next video is going to be example 3. Please make sure you also watch example 3.